a lot of reforms that introduced IEBC and Zake son. Then now came Chebukati. So IEBC has done a lot of transformation to an extent that it is an independent body. An independent body. It means that there is a commission that recommends names of those that have been selected to sit in IBC, the chair and other members. So they go through, I think they go through vetting in parliament, then the names are just submitted to the president for signatory. There's nothing much that the president can do beyond that, or whatever has been presented before him. So this is a process that was bipartisan before we went for the 2017 general elections. And now we went for this other election. If there was any issue that needed to be looked into, I think, I believe Uhuru and Raila did their best and appointed the Cherera 4. Yeah, you know, the Cherera 4 came towards the end tail of 2020? Did they come in 2020 or 2021? The Cherera 4. They were appointed very, very recently before the August elections. They were appointed just before the August election, sorry. And they had a mission, just as you said, they had a mission and they didn't accomplish the mission. But I believe they accomplished the mission by differing with what Chebukati was going to announce. So they did their part. They did their part of bargain. Now, Jeff, this if at all, you know, elections in Kenya is a matter of life and death. You remember what happened to Rosalyn Akombe. She fled the country and made an announcement when she was in exile. You remember one John Gidong? He fled the country and also made an announcement while in exile. You remember the late Musando? If he had played ball, if he had played long, he would be still alive. So that tells you the magnitude of this election. And that also tells you that Ruto was also very, very powerful going into this election. It also tells you that there could be some influence that he had that was above Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila ODINGA going towards this election. Because if Chebukati was the only stumbling block for Raila's presidency or for Uhuru's presidency, then they had all the machineries to take him out. But they couldn't. That is also another question. They had all the machineries to take Chebukati out, but they didn't.
Yeah. So you see, especially this was the time that we had the highest number of international observers. And it is because we had the outgoing president, and also, you know, as you said, the issue of influence was also there because China had or has entered so much in Africa. And the Western countries have been getting worried by the way China has been in a position to. This is just my thinking, which is, I think, is the truth. The Western countries, whom I believe to a larger extent we are supporting or are still supporting William Ruto, they are looking for a way in which they can try to reduce the level at which China is being embraced in Africa. And they know Kenya is is very influential. Raila Odinga, having worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, who was bent on China so much, the West was feeling like Raila Odinga will not be of great help in as far as trying to remove China from Kenya and from other African states. So that is why I think also America and Britain and other powerful countries were so keen not to help to league, but just to observe, to make sure. Because Mzalendo, I want to tell you, Ruto had votes. Ruto had votes. The only thing we needed was to protect those votes and make sure that those votes were not stolen. Do you know how that was achieved? I'm saying this because I was one of the campaign machineries.
Oh, sasa umeanza kujitambulisha leo, eh?
One thing that Kenya Kwanza did was to make sure that we had agents in all polling stations. And those agents were being paid. You see? And that is how we were able to make sure that the votes of William Ruto were not stolen. What happened with Azimio? In most of the polling stations, they had no agents. And even the agents that were there, they were not paid, not even provided for with lunch. So how do you expect that people will be so much motivated to work for you if you don't remunerate them, if you don't pay them? So Kenya Kwanza, we also had the tallying centers organized with the computers and staff to make sure that everything that comes from the ground, we are able to count, to add the numbers. But what happened? Azimio were relying on Citizen TV to count for them. Then you tell us, I have been leaked. Yet you showed a level of disorganization from the beginning. People are supposed to, you see, if Raila Odinga is saying, like we were saying, that Kenya Kwanza, we already, before even Chebukati announced, we already knew the results because we had people who were capturing every number that has been released from the ground and add those numbers. Raila Odinga was not even having a tallying center. You see, you saw Mother Karua saying that we are also tallying. Where? Those are so many votes. They need organization. You see, even Citizen TV, they reached a point whereby now they could not even tally. They were overwhelmed because they were not having enough staff. They were not having the right systems to do that. So disorganization of Azimio team because of the belief in deep state and the system, that is what made them to fail. They even failed to campaign the way they were supposed to campaign because they believed, after all, with the support of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, we are good. But Ruto knew, I need to campaign. I need to put extra effort because he knew he was fighting with heavyweights. That is how he won the elections. Mzalendo, you said Ruto is, Raila is not mad, that he cannot just appear one day and say, I was leaked. Tell me when he has run for the presidency 5 times. Tell me, you know, we can say at this time he accepted. So maybe if he was not linked, he would have accepted. He is saying this because he has been rigged. But for all 5 times, Raila Odinga, according to him and his supporters, he has never lost an election in Kenya. The precedence he has set is that everybody knows, even if he is beaten squarely, he will never accept defeat. So it is not a surprise that he came and said, I was rigged. With that one, we were expecting. And people kept used. I know those clips are out there, and I wish Jakes was here. Even the international media, because they knew him, they kept asking him, if you are defeated, are you going to accept defeat? And that question, the answer was not just coming directly. It was a forced answer, the way he was answering those questions. So the president